I hit a wire with a screw and all of the wall outlets went out. The breaker didn't go out though. So I tried flipping off a bunch of breakers and it suddenly started working. Then I had to do one more thing and I accidentally touched my screwdriver to the two outlets and it popped again. So I went to the breaker I knew was the right one, and I keep flipping it back and forth and it just doen'st workl.
Hello. My name is I will be happy to assist you with your electrical question. My goal is to exceed your expectations on JustAnswer. 1. How many receptacles are not working? What area of the home are the dead receptacles located at? 2. Do you have an AC voltmeter to measure for voltage at the circuit breaker and at the receptacles? 3. Do you know which circuit breaker controls the dead receptacles? Is your electrical panel properly labeled showing the locations for the various circuits? 4. Any chance that you may have a GFCI receptacle that tripped? Have you checked all GFCI receptacles? Are any of the circuit breakers a GFCI type with a test button? 5. What caused the screw to hit a wire? Did a screw come into contact with an energized receptacle or did the screw puncture a cable?
Thanks. The problem was that I was drilling through the wall for a cable TV connector and nicked the wires because I didn't know they were back there. There are 4 receptacles that are not working. Where the electrical wires got nicked was about 2 feet down from the ceiling in the wall. So the wires go from there and out to the 4 receptacles. The last one at the end of the line is the bathroom GFI. There are 2 sets of wires, white, black and bare copper per set, that run down the wall. I'm assuming they run down and then back. When I was testing the other breakers last night, the outlets actually magically started working again. But when I went to turn the breaker off and then on, they now don't work again. I actually switched the wires at the breaker box to a breaker I know is working and it still didn't help. Again, the wires were just nicked from my drill bit. I was able to spread them out so they're not touching each other. They're hard to get to, but I was able to spread them out so they don't touch each other, and from the looks of the wires they are just barely nicked. Could it be they don't work even if just nicked? The wires are the solid type. So, I also just now replaced the GFI in the bathroom, and that did nothing. With the breaker on, when I put my little current tester on the line, there is nothing. When they started working again last night, when I would put my tester on, it would beep. It seems like there is something between where I nicked the wire and the breaker box, but it is an impossible attic to get to, so I can't climb up in there. Was hoping not to have to. I don't have a voltmeter, but it seems if I was able to switch the wires to a working breaker of the same amps, that it's not really the breaker's fault. Sorry if I sound like an idiot, I really appreciate your help. I know it's not the way you do it, but if you could call me, that would be great. Thanks so much, Mark.
Thank you for the replies, Mark. 1. Since you know the location where the cable was nicked, you can isolate that section of cable and check it with an ohm meter or continuity tester for an open. Shown in the link below is a good meter sold at Home Depot for $22, or maybe you can borrow one from a neighbor or friend. The voltmeter can also confirm the voltage at the circuit breaker by taking a measurement directly at the breaker. Temporarily remove the hot wire from the breaker and measure for voltage at the breaker terminal to the panel neutral bus bar. I recommend to start at the breaker since this is the origin of the voltage, to make sure the breaker is good. If good, then proceed as shown below. http://www.homadepot.com/p/Klein Tools Manual Ranging Multimeter MM100 200 2565782 First, you will need to turn the circuit breaker to the off position. You will need to locate the connection point at both ends of the cable where the nick occurred and disconnect the hot, neutral and ground wires. This will now provide a section of the cable that is no longer terminated. Check for continuity on the open section of Romex and go from hot to neutral, hot to ground and neutral to ground. Check all three conductors for continuity. Next step, you can temporarily splice the hot and neutral together at one location to create a loop. Then, using the audible continuity feature, check for continuity or an open at the other open end of that cable. By doing this with each wire, you will be able to confirm if only one wire or all three in the cable are open. 3. Once it is confirmed that the cable has an open, you will need to re-splice the connections. If the cable has a white exterior insulation, that is 14 halves Romex cable and resides on a 15 amp breaker. If the cable insulation is yellow, that is 12 halves Romex and resides on a 20 amp breaker. You may need some spare Romex cable to re-splice. Make sure you have the correct Romex for the replacement if needed. You will then need to open up the wall and make the repair splice. It is possible that you may have some extra slack in the Romex and may only need one splice. Shown below is a Romex cable splice kit that is approved to go inside of a wall without requiring a splice box. See link shown below, http://www.hamadepot.com/p/Tyco Electronics Romex Splice Kit 2 Wire 1 Clam CPGI 1116377 202202326 4. Once the splice is completed, re-terminate both ends of the Romex cable to the receptacles and/or any splice box that you may have opened. Turn the circuit breaker to the on position and using the voltmeter, measure for 120 volts at the receptacles. Hope this helps. If you have any additional questions, let me know and I'll be glad to answer them for you. Otherwise, don't forget to rate me before you log off. The next time you have an electrical question, you can also request for me at http://www.justanswer.com/home-improvement/expert your electrician. Thanks. Kevin.
I actually figured it out. There was a GFCI in our second bath that I didn't realize was there. Thanks anyway.
Okay, very good Mark. Glad it was something as simple as a trip GFCI. Thank you for the positive service rating. Much appreciated. If you have any other questions, just let me know. Take care and have a great day. Thanks. Kevin.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.